You're sitting on a plane, right? Everything's going smoothly. You're scrolling through your phone. Maybe you're just starting to relax. Then boom, a flight attendant walks up to a black man sitting in the aisle seat. It's like she's been waiting for this moment. "Excuse me, sir. You need to get off the plane." "Wait, what?" The man looks up, confused. He hasn't said a word to anyone. He's been quiet the whole time. Why is she asking him to leave? Is this a joke? "No, I'm not getting off," he says calmly. But the flight attendant doesn't back down. She's insistent now, almost angry. "You need to get off. We don't want any trouble." Other passengers are starting to notice. Whispers fill the cabin. The tension is palpable. Some look uncomfortable. Others seem to have no idea what's happening. Is this really happening? Then it happens. The man stands up, slow and steady, as if he's been waiting for this moment, like he's preparing for something big. And then he drops it. He pulls out an FBI badge. The gasps are immediate. You can almost hear it. "I'm an agent with the FBI," he says, voice low but clear. "You're not kicking me off this plane." The flight attendant freezes. The blood drains from her face. She stumbles back, eyes wide. You can see it in her expression. Disbelief, panic, and a hint of guilt. Did she just try to kick a federal agent off the plane? The man's calmness only makes the situation weirder. No panic, no fear, just a cold stare. The kind that would make anyone back off. The passengers are in shock. People look back and forth between the flight attendant and the man, try to make sense of it all. Some start recording. Others are too stunned to move. What happens next? The flight attendant stammers. I didn't know. I didn't mean to." But she doesn't get to finish her sentence. The plane is now silent. The tension is so thick, it could cut through with a knife. Everyone is wondering what happens now. The man starts walking down the aisle. No one says a word. He's not even looking at the flight attendant anymore. Instead, his eyes scan the crowd of passengers. He's walking like he owns the place, like nothing can touch him. Suddenly, the pilot's voice cracks through the intercom. "We're experiencing a slight delay. Please remain seated." But that's not the real story, is it? Not even close. It's the silence that follows that's louder than any announcement. The flight attendant doesn't dare stop him. Then, just when you think this nightmare is over, something else happens. The man reaches the front of the plane, and just before he disappears into the cockpit area, he turns back. "I'm going to need all of you to stay calm," he says, his voice cold and unwavering. "This is bigger than what you think." Boom. The words hit harder than any shock. Bigger than what you think? What is he talking about? A few seconds later, two men in suits walk on the plane. They move with purpose, eyes scanning, as if they already know what they're looking for. They nod to the man with the badge. They don't need to ask any questions. Now everyone's on edge. The tension's ramped up to the point where no one even breathes. What's going on here? Just as you're trying to piece it all together, the plane's cabin door slams shut. The flight attendants start talking in hushed tones, but you can't hear them. The man with the FBI badge has vanished, gone into the cockpit with those two men. And now the flight attendants are looking back at the passengers. Some of them look nervous. What's happening? You start wondering, was that man really FBI? Was he an agent? Or was this some elaborate setup? But the thing is, you remember the badge, the real one, the one that looked official. The plane is dead silent. Then the pilot's voice again. But this time it's different. "Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that we've encountered a situation. We need your full cooperation. Please stay seated until further instructions." The pilot doesn't say much else. But that's enough to set the room on fire. What situation? What's going on? That's when you hear something else. A voice. It's low. Too low for anyone else to hear. But it's unmistakable. The man with the badge. He's back. And he's talking to someone. But who? The tension is suffocating. Everyone's looking at each other now. Everyone's wondering what's going to happen next. The plane starts moving again. But no one can relax. Because, deep down, this isn't over. What happened to the FBI agent? Why was he kicked off in the first place? Why did the flight attendant act so strangely? The truth? It's not what anyone expects. It's bigger, much bigger. And as the plane starts its journey again, you can't help but wonder, is the danger really over? Or are you about to find out just how deep this conspiracy goes? Because the worst part, the scariest part, it's only just begun. Okay, remember where we left off? The plane was silent. The tension was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. The man with the FBI badge vanished into the cockpit, leaving everyone on edge. Everyone's asking the same question. What's really going on here? Then, just when you think things are cooling off, the pilot comes back on the intercom. But this time, it's different. His voice is trembling, almost like he's scared. We've been instructed to remain at a higher altitude. Please stay seated with your seatbelts fastened. What does that even mean? Higher altitude? The plane's atmosphere feels off. People are whispering to each other, stealing glances at the flight attendants who are looking way too nervous for this to be just a simple delay. Something's happening. Something big. Suddenly, the two men in suits from earlier, the ones who walked on the plane after the FBI guy, appear again. But this time, they're holding something. A briefcase. Not any briefcase. A heavy, military-grade case. And the strangest part? They walk directly toward the back of the plane, where the flight attendants are. They're speaking in hushed voices, glancing over their shoulders like they don't want anyone to hear. You can feel it in your gut. Something really bad is coming. But just as you're about to start panicking, the man with the FBI badge reappears. He's walking down the aisle again, and this time he's not alone. Two more agents, also wearing suits, also way too serious, step out from behind him. Their eyes scan the room, making everyone uneasy. They approach the back of the plane where the flight attendants are still standing. But instead of talking to them, the FBI agents glance at each other, nod, and suddenly, bam! They pull out guns. Everyone freezes. Passengers are holding their breath. A couple people gasp. The flight attendants start trembling. What the hell is going on? The lead FBI agent steps forward, speaking with a voice that cuts through the fear. You're all being detained, he announces, looking at the passengers. You're involved in something far bigger than you think. The word detained hits like a punch in the stomach. No one knows what to do. No one knows whether to scream, to run, or to stay frozen. But the agents don't seem to care. Then, boom! The man with the badge does something that flips everything upside down. He turns to the flight attendants, those who tried to kick him off earlier, and says, "You'll want to start talking. Now." That's when everything comes crashing down. The lead FBI agent walks toward the flight attendant who tried to kick the man off the plane. He looks straight into her eyes and says, "You're not a flight attendant." Wait, what? The room goes silent again. The flight attendants exchange glances. This wasn't in the script. No, that's impossible, she stammers. I'm a flight attendant. But the agent steps closer, pointing directly at her. You're a cover, an undercover agent working with a foreign syndicate. We've been tracking you for months. You've been planting intel on this flight, and your real mission wasn't just to harass one passenger. It was to find someone specific. The passengers are in complete shock. They look from one agent to another, their minds spinning. This can't be real. But it is. The FBI is now staring down one of their own, and the twist is coming at full speed. You don't understand, the flight attendant says, trying to pull away. I was just following orders. The package. It was supposed to be on this flight. The lead FBI agent looks even more furious now. The package was never on this plane. It was a decoy. We knew you were coming, and we've been waiting for you. And then, the twist no one saw coming hits like a freight train. The man with the FBI badge turns to the agents and says, "You're wrong." Wait, what? The lead FBI agent's jaw drops. What do you mean? We've been tailing this flight for days. I've been tracking you, agent. Now everything is turning upside down. This man, the one who flashed the badge earlier, he's not FBI. He's another player in this insane game. No, he says, walking closer. I'm not a federal agent. I'm here for the package, too. And I'm not the only one. Everyone on the plane is now on high alert. The tension could snap at any moment. The agents look at each other, confused and angry. Then, the man who once claimed to be FBI steps forward, pulling out a black envelope. He hands it to one of the agents, who rips it open. The contents are shocking. Pictures, not of the flight attendants, not of the passengers, but of the agents themselves. You've been compromised, the man says, and you're not going to like who's been pulling the strings. The lead FBI agent holds up a photo of the man with the badge. His eyes widen in recognition. You're one of them. It's like a lightning bolt just struck. Everything clicks into place. The man wasn't FBI. But who was he? And who else was in on this? Now the real agents are scrambling, looking around, trying to piece together what's happening. But the truth is already out. There's someone else, someone far more dangerous. Someone who's been playing both sides. Pack your bags, Agent Harris, the man says with a chilling smile. You're not leaving this plane the same way you came on it. And just when you think everything's coming together, just when you think you know who's who, another twist drops. A voice over the intercom. We have a code red situation. All passengers are to stay seated immediately. And then darkness. The plane goes completely dark. Emergency lights flicker on. The oxygen masks drop from the ceiling. And panic spreads like wildfire. Something big is coming. Something worse than anything anyone on this flight could ever imagine. But what is it? Who's pulling the strings? And why is no one safe? Stay tuned for more